just read in a biography about you, and I quote, he looks like a mixture of digged out for 2 months decomposed poodle and an exploding cleaning mop. What do you think inspires people to write something like that?
I don't know what that even means. Look, I'm pretty put together. Slick. I don't know.
How's your relationship with Beavis and Butthead these days?
I don't talk to those guys anymore. Yeah, no.
Have you seen any of the new material?
I have not seen. I don't know if they made any new ones yet. I don't think they've made them yet. I actually talked to Mike Judge not that long ago, and I don't know if they've actually made any new Beavis and Buttheads, but they will. I hope anyway. I think they're hilarious.
If they'd approach you to direct, let's say, a big screen version.
I would love to. I mean, I directed a segment in the first movie, but yeah, I mean, I love animation, and Beavis and Butthead are great, so sure.
They're classical, yeah.
Classic, yeah.
Were you satisfied with last season of LA Kings?
I actually haven't paid any attention to what I think they did pretty good this year, but I moved out of LA, so I don't know. I stopped going.
Quarterfinals, I guess.
Yeah, that's better than last place, which is what I remember a couple of years ago.
So you completely moved out of LA?
I still have a house there, but I spend a lot of time on the East Coast. So this year, the team the Bruins won. That's the team I grew up with, Boston Bruins.
The main business of your family was Carney Business?
When I was little, yeah.
Was that some kind of initial...
I mean, I don't know. At the time, I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. I thought it was stupid. But then, I think some of that has had residual effects on me over the years in the movies and music. You can see it and hear it. But at the time, my parents stopped doing it in the around 1975 because it kind of got really violent because they weren't like nice circuses. They were sort of these shitty little carnivals. And one night, the last time we did it there was a big riot, and people, there was like a lot of guns pulled out and craziness, and we were little kids and they didn't want us to be around that anymore, so we didn't do it and we stopped.
What can you tell us about the Lords of Salem?
Well, Lords of Salem is my next movie that I'm going to start shooting in October. We'll start working on it in September, but we won't start shooting until October. And basically, it's about the Salem witch trials. I grew up in Massachusetts, so that was always something that I remember as a kid. It's not about the witch trials per se, but it starts 1692 and jumps ahead to modern times. It's basically about this coven of witches that nobody knew about that aren't part of the witch trials that return to a modern day Salem to seek revenge.
And of course, we all know who's going to be the leading role female-wise.
I have not cast anybody yet.
Not even your wife?
No one's in it yet. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just starting to get to that. We're not sure. People think they know everything, but they're not right.
Well, looking at your past movies, it's like when you started writing, you already had your wife in mind.
Yeah. No, in the past movies for sure. I like to write with people in mind, and as the years go on, and I get to know more actors and more people. It's fun and to write with specific people in mind. But for this one, there's a couple people I have in mind, but I haven't talked to anyone yet. We'll see what happens.
Your mailbox must be like completely full with people asking, "Oh, you're doing a new movie? You know, couldn't you write a role for me?"
Well, what happens is like you get to be friends with all these actors. And every time you don't put them in a movie, they suddenly think you don't like them anymore. Even if there's no part in the movie that's even remotely appropriate. Like Danny Trejo. He's going to call me up immediately. Yo, Holmes, why ain't I in a new movie? What the fuck, man? Because he does that he calls me up. So we'll see.
Is directing something you always knew that you wanted to do that?
Yeah, I always wanted to direct movies. I wanted to direct movies more than I even wanted to do music. But I wanted to do both, obviously. But So, but the music happened first, and making videos was a good way to sort of get some training, and I did all the White Zombie videos and all my videos, and a few others for like Ozzy and Black Label Society and different bands along the way. So yeah, and eventually, I finally got the opportunity with House of a Thousand Corpses to make a movie. It takes a long time. It's hard to get it. It's hard to make a movie. It's hard to get anyone to give you the money and to trust you. You can spend years sometimes on these projects and they still don't happen. So you waste a lot of time.
Ever thought of going to the Oscars?
When I was a kid, I really wanted to go to the Oscars. I thought it was really the greatest thing in the world. I'd always watch it, and I would be so in awe of the Oscars. But it was like, it would be like John Wayne and Groucho Marx and Alfred Hitchcock and all these people at the Oscars. And I watched the Oscars this year, and I came to the conclusion, I just don't give a shit anymore. That there's the idea of the Oscars and the reality of the Oscars are two different things. And I watched, and I was like, who gives a fuck? I hate these movies. I hate these actors. I don't give a shit.
There's very, very few horror.
There's nothing. I think Silence of the Lambs was the last horror movie like 1,000 years ago.
You're also a comic book creator.
Sure.
Baron von Schack was the last one you did.
Yeah, there's still a couple more issues of that are going to come out. I think we're up to issue 5. I'm not sure exactly. There's like 3 or 4 more issues of that, and then it'll be done.
Just could you explain? Is there a different approach to art when you do a comic book?
Not really. I mean, I sort of the Baron von Schack was a script I had actually written for a movie. I wrote it a couple of years ago, actually many years ago. But I was like, I didn't know when I would ever get it made. So I thought, I'll make it into a comic book first. Same thing I did that with El Super Bisto. I made it a comic book first, and sometimes it's easier to get it turned into a movie if it's a comic book, because it's really hard to get them to make original ideas anymore. So if you make it a comic book first, sometimes it's easier to sell the idea. So that's kind of why I do it.
How's the family? Are you in contact like on an everyday basis, even when you're on tour?
Yeah. Everybody's good. Talked to my dad yesterday. It was Father's Day. He was. I sent him a box of Clint Eastwood movies, and he was watching Dirty Harry, so he was happy. And I talked to my wife this morning, and everybody's happy. Hey, this is Rob Zombie, and you're watching MULATSCHAG, the only TV that you need.
MULATSCHAG!